welcome back to another video. You may not be able to hear me very well. Please turn up if you can't. I've got my aircon on because it's hot and I'm sweating like a bitch. So here I've ordered some decals, and I'll leave the link in the drop down box for them. I was asked to become a brand ambassador, so that's what I am. I will also leave a 5% discount code as well in the drop down box. So I picked these 3 sets, the animal ones because I like the colours on them, Mickey Mouse because who doesn't love Mickey Mouse, and obviously the LV designer ones. Today's set I'm going to be using the animal ones. So yeah, I'm going to show you a little technique that I've done previous, but I've done it on a black background, but today we're doing it on a white background. So I'm going to base coat. The base coat I'm using is my Gelure one because I don't have any other one, and I'm just going to base coat all of those tips and then we'll come back. Okay, so they've all been base coated. Now I'm going to paint them all white. I'm using Premier Gel white gel polish because it's the only one I've got, and I'm going to do that on all 4 nails and then we'll come back. And now I've got a stamper, and I am taking some acrylic paint. Now it has to be white acrylic paint, and I'm going to put a thin layer of this over that stamping pad. Now you want to keep it as thin as possible, but not too thin to the point where you've got nothing on there. So just keep it nice and thin, and then you want to allow that to dry. So now it's dry, we're going to apply some pigments. Now you can have whatever colour you want, and I'm just going to use these 4 colours, the green, blue, orange and pink, and I'm just going to pat those colours onto that dry acrylic paint. Now I apply it twice, so twice of each colour, just so that there's enough pigment there. And the effect that we're going for is called a crackled effect. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going for the crackled effect. You can place these colours wherever you want, randomly, it doesn't really matter. You can apply it all over the whole nail, which I should have done because I had more than 1 nail to do, but we had enough. So I'm just going to take that off there, and you'll see, can you see it cracking? Can you see the crack? Maybe not so much there, but no, I advise you to use an old stamping, an old stamper. Can you see that? See, there's like a crackled effect in it. I mean, it didn't turn out as good, but you get the gist. I don't think I had enough paint on, to be honest, but I still got some crackled effect. You can see the crackled effect there then on the actual stamper. I just think it's a really good effect. Now I was going to do then, no, I've got to put a decal on yet. And if there's any gaps left over, then just take your stamper again, oops, dearie me, and then just fill over those gaps. And it's just, it really is as easy as that. But you've got to make sure that you get that acrylic thin, not too thin, but thin, and you need to allow it to dry as well. The thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry, and it may not even dry. So sorry, I thought this was in view, but it weren't, so I do apologise. But I'm using one of the elephant decals, and I've just got a little pot at the side here, and I've just popped him inside. I do put a little snippet in the sides, just this is going to help to lay it out a little bit better, because obviously it's a flat decal, but it's got to go on a curved nail, so you do need to give it a little snippet at each side to lay it flat, if that makes sense. I have such an unsteady hand, and annoyed me because it didn't go on straight, and I was like, no! So I had to try and get it back off and then put it back on again because it was annoying me. I don't know if this is where I decided that it needed a snippet in there, so I had to put a little snip in. Doesn't want to come off. Use my fingers. Careful, careful, careful. Whew. I was like, what do I do? So yeah, so this is where I put a little snippet in, because at the bottom end it wasn't sitting nice and flat, it was crinkled. So I just put a little snippet in just to help to lay that down a little bit flatter. Now, you can either apply a base coat down and then apply your decal on top, or if your white it has a sticky layer on, then that's okay as well. But 9 out of 10, if you put a base coat on, it's a little bit easier for you to manoeuvre around. But here I just used the stickiness from the actual white. And then I'm just going to get that colour again off that stamper, and just go round that decal, just to fill in that white area. And then I'm going to base coat them. I'm going to take any excess of that powder off, and then I'm going to base coat them before I top coat them. Again, I'm using my Gelure base coat, and this is just in case any pigment comes off, but also it helps to keep that pigment in place, and then you top coat over it. And with any nail art, I'll always put a base coat on top before I apply my top coat. So now I'm going to cure that, wipe around the nail. If I need to, I will foil around the edges before applying the top coat. This just in case there's anything that's a little bit out of shape. And I will buff over it as well. But then, yeah, I'll go straight to top coat. I just love how these turned out. Pretty cute. Remember, I will leave the link to the decals in my drop down box as well. Top coat I'm using is the Gelure top coat. I'm just going to place that over the nail, and then we're going to cure it, and then we're done. So yeah, if you do want me to do a more, like, show you a better version of the crackled pigment effect, just let me know, and I'll do one nail just solely showing that. Because I don't feel that I got the full crackled effect on this nail. I don't know whether that was because it was a white background, but I still love the effect that it gave. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.